Ready to go? Okay. We'll call this being, what time is it? It's 5:30. Call the meeting of the Facilities Committee to order. And the first thing on the agenda is going to be public input. And for 3 minutes per person, 15 minutes in total. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak tonight? Okay. No? Seeing none? We will move on to the next item of the agenda. And if I could have an approval for the minutes of May 6, 2025?
Second.
Moved to second. Any comments? All those in favor? 5-0. Next item on the agenda is the food service budget from Ms. Lindy Paris. The floor is yours.
Randy, Lindy doesn't know all the members here because she doesn't come into the full board. But this is Lindy Paris, Director of Food Service for 20, how long have you been Director?
22 and a half years. No, Director
Yeah.
since 11 years.
11 years. And this is her last meeting.
Something we said?
Just time.
Fine, yeah, I hear you. And, well, thank you for all the time that you've put into it.
My pleasure.
Appreciate that.
My pleasure. It's been a wonderful 22 and a half years. So,
Okay, so once again, the floor is yours.
all right. So I usually start with the summary for this current year. I know I have a time crunch, so I'll go quickly. It's been a okay year. Again, challenging with staffing, which is, everyone's dealing with that, and costs. But we've been able to get subs, and we've been filling in during the school year as well. We hired a new kitchen manager at the middle school in the fall. She's doing fantastic. She was promoted from within. She was a lead at one of the elementary schools, and she's doing wonderful. Participation is up, so we're thrilled with that. We currently have 34% free and reduced. It's down slightly from last year. It fluctuates between 33 and 35 in the most recent decade. Prior to that, we were usually in the mid to high 20s. So we're doing much better reaching out to people to try and get them to fill out the form, because everyone benefits when people fill out the form. So our entitlement commodities this year was down slightly. For those of you who are new, we get government commodities that basically costs us $7 a case. So we could get 40 pounds of ground beef for $7. It's down slightly this year, but we are really smart with our purchasing. We try and get center of the plate and proteins. We don't waste it on vegetables and things like that. We also get DOD vegetables every week, which helps our bottom line tremendously. Federal reimbursement is up slightly from last year. That's simply because most years we get a slight increase on the reimbursement rates. We're going to end the year, if you look at page 3 in the second column from the right, we're going to end the year, I'm forecasting at a negative 88,747.51, which is better than we anticipated. So we're thrilled with that, because we thought costs were going to be much higher than they were. So we were able to control that a little bit. So we're encouraged by that. Looking ahead to next year, our bid process is over, and we are using the same vendors we have been using for the last several years. We're not required to use any one vendor, so we split it up and are able to get the best price from each of the vendors that we use. The current Director of Food Services, me, will be leaving. This is Andrea Velikas. She has been the Assistant Director of Food Services for 11 years since I was promoted. She also has been here over 20 years. She will be coming in as the Interim Food Service Director for next year. So we're very excited about that, and it will be a very smooth transition. So that'll go really, really well. And I'll be working right here at Community Ed, so if she needs anything, I'm there to help her. Next year, there's going to be two new USDA rulings that we're going to have to comply with. One is in regards to sugar, in added sugar in cereals, yogurts, and flavored milks. And the second has to do with purchasing, in that no more than 10% of the total food purchases can be from non-domestic food items. The reason this is important is because in purchasing, Andrea right now, as the main purchaser, can sometimes spend hours searching for products that we can bring in that are American, and the paperwork that is required in order to explain the 10% that we may have to do. There are certain items that just aren't made in the US. Yep.
Well, thank you. I know we gotta stay on top of all the things coming down. We have to stay on top of everything coming down on us from the feds. But is Canada count? Because they have been declared the 51st state, so.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, unfortunately, our 51st state isn't American. I wish it was, or I wish I was them. Anyway, so that will be a lot of paperwork going into next year. The FFV program, which is a fresh fruits and vegetable grant that we've been getting for many, many years, has not been authorized. There may be a chance with the new administration that it is not authorized. It's where, based on free and reduced percentages at schools, we are able to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables that are given out in the afternoon for everyone in the school, and we get direct reimbursement for that. We don't know. We should know mid-August if that is going to be authorized. An analysis was done on the town administrative fees that we charge as basically a consulting fee. We run, for those of you who are relatively new, we run Marlborough, Harrisville, Nelson, Marlowe, Chesterfield schools. We run their programs, and we're increasing the administrative fees. It hasn't been done for 6 years, so that will be going up, and that is reflected in the budget. As far as prices this year, this is actually the only thing you would need to vote on tonight. But since we aren't raising prices for breakfast and lunch, because we did a hefty price increase last year, you don't technically have to vote on that. We will be increasing prices on the a la carte items that we offer at the high school and the middle school. We do a small increase every year, and that just helps cover our costs. And frankly, it helps, the revenue from that helps us provide a huge salad bar at the middle school and the high school every day and several times a week at the elementary schools. We are anticipating a loss next year, if you look at the far right column in the proposed, of $152,000 in change. Now, that does include an additional position that the theory is would fall off the next year. In anticipation, we're hiring 2 assistant directors for next year. With the theory is that one of those people will be a clear step up to the plate and take over as the director when Andrea does leave. So that would theoretically fall off the following year.
It's not an additional position, it's a different position.
Right.
We currently have 4 people in administration, and we're staying with 4, but we are losing our director and our longtime administrative assistant this year. I replaced those with 2 assistant directors and an interim. Then next year, we'll have the same number of positions, but I'll be able to train 2 people at a higher level, hopefully have a director and an assistant, and then we'll rehire an administrative assistant. So same number of positions, but one costs a little more than what we would have paid for had we hired an administrative assistant. But it's hard to lose your 3 top people in a year. So that's where we are.
Does anyone have any questions?
Questions? No, I think
All right.
it's right to the point and clear, and I really appreciate
I
that.
tried, and thank you for all your support. You have been extremely supportive of our program over the years, and I appreciate it.
Good luck
Thank
in your next venture.
Thank you.
So basically, am I correct, all we have to really vote on here tonight is just approving of the raises, of the price increases for next year?
The price is staying the same.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll
I'll
make-
move that we recommend to the full board that we accept the prices from the Ms. Paris as presented.
Okay, you got it.
Further comments? All those in favor? Unanimous, 5-0. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Community education budget. Who's up?
I think that's me.
Well, I know who's up. You're up. How are you tonight?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
No complaints. Well, we don't have time to go through them all. Floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Heather Jasmine. I'm the new director of Keene Community Education. And I'm here to tell you a little bit more about what we do, who we serve, and what we're hoping to spend next year. So this picture here was the cover of our program, our graduation program this year. It was drawn by one of our students. We really loved the symbolism. So on the next slide, just wanted to, one of the things I didn't realize when I started was we have actually been around since 1967, serving adults with lifelong learning opportunities. So really excited to be part of that now. So this year we served over 350 students. They included students in our ESL classes, our high school equivalency testing and prep, adult diploma or night school, apprenticeships, enrichment courses, they're down a little farther, and then plenty of student counseling and nurturing. For ESL and high-set prep classes, I'll wait till Tim catches up. They're down a little bit farther. Keep going.
Oh, you're
There you go. So we just actually, I believe you have what I sent over to Lisa yesterday, and late yesterday we learned that the AEL grant is going to be level funded for next year, so we were really excited about that. We still haven't heard about the IELCE grant. That one's still up in the air. AEL stands for Adult Education and Literacy, and IELCE stands for Integrated English Language and Civics Education. Between those two grants, we serve 113 students this year, down just slightly from last year, but we have rolling admissions, so I had actually a couple of people reach out to us even this week, so those numbers will go up. 85 of them are ESL students and 28 are high-set prep that are funded through this grant.
Can you tell them what high set is?
Yes, I have a whole slide around high-set. The ESL grants, the AEL grant, I mentioned it was level funded, and it looks like it's down about $7,000. The reason for that is that last year we funded we developed a budget based on $146,000, and then partway through the year they gave us another $7,000. So that level funding just brings us back to the budget that we were working with last year originally. So ESL classes, we offer classes in the daytime for beginners, advanced beginners, and an intermediate advanced class. We also have a night beginner ESL class that we're offering downtown in the basement of the Unitarian Church in the new Keene Multicultural Center, and that's been a really great partnership for us. We do several online classes, a night intermediate and advanced that meets 2 nights a week, and an online workplace literacy that meets on Wednesdays. We've got 27 countries represented, with the most common being Haiti and Ecuador. So, I'm not sure there was, we, due to, some of the political climate this spring, we haven't been advertising really widely in, papers, news, radio, so forth. So we've been doing a lot of advertising through our schools to make sure that our ESL teachers know about, and their principals and their guidance counselors and so forth, know about this and can tell their parents, so that we're hopefully serving the families of our school children as much as possible. We've also been reaching out to a lot of advocacy groups like Project Home and CURP and so forth. So we're getting a lot of new students that way through the word of mouth. So HiSET. HiSET is basically the same as a GED. It's just a different company. So it's a high school equivalency test. Most of New Hampshire uses HiSET instead of the GED. There's 5 subtests within the HiSET. There's a reading, a writing, a math, a science, and a social studies. And students can take one at a time. Most students kind of prepare for one, pass it, and then prepare for the next. Occasionally, I worked with a student this week from the Asheville Valley Academy who took all 5 in 2 days, and it was good to go. We help students prepare with 3 different software programs and 2 HiSET prep classes, one at night and one during the day. The one during the day is a little more structured, and each month she does a specific lesson. So she's doing math this month. She'll do writing when they come back in the fall. She just finished a reading one. But in both cases, they're tied in. They're getting students enrolled in these software programs that will give them pre-tests and post-tests and make sure that we're tailoring their education exactly to what they need to know. We're the only testing center in our region, so we get students that come in from high schools, come in just off. I had a woman the other day just completely off the street, said, I just want to try this. And so we get students from kind of all over, not just the students that we're prepping. We also work with people in the House of Corrections. When someone comes in as a prisoner, they're asked, one of the questions they're asked is if they have a high school diploma, and if not, they're hooked up with one of our teachers or tutors. And then if they're ready, we'll test them. The Claremont Adult Learning Center actually is closing in a few weeks. And so they've been referring students to us. So we're getting more students that need help from up there. We also received a $3,500 grant from Dollar General to help fund our ESL students, our HiSET prep students, and our adult diploma students to support them with computer learning over the summer when we don't have classes. So that you'll see show up on a bunch of different slides. So the adult diploma program, this one here, you'll see our numbers are going up. We serve 59 people this year in 14 classes. We added an additional term, so now we have classes that begin fall, winter, spring, and summer. This one is funded through unmatched state funds, and the current budget that's being proposed does not have adult diploma funding. There's a lot of advocacy and so forth going on. We're hoping to change that, but currently it does not. It funds instruction and counseling and contributes towards supplies, phone, and internet, but does not contribute toward any of our salaries or benefits. Our current class size average is 12, and we could be going up. We could conceivably go up to about 15 for an average class size. We just graduated 23 students. One of the ways that we're supporting this program is with a lot of high school collaboration. So we've always worked with Keene High, and we're working on strengthening that as much as we can, working with the guidance counselors to make sure we're identifying the students they need. We added the winter term because they were having some students like October-ish that they thought we're going to need some credit recovery, making sure that our calendar is aligning with their calendar as much as possible. So we're picking up students, for example, depending if we can start our classes a little bit later in the spring, they'll know, who didn't pass from the fall semester and be able to get them into our classes. So we're working on collaboration with them. We're also working on collaboration with Hinsdale, Monadnock, Claremont, Lebanon, is with some other schools to be able to support their students since their programs are not currently running. You may hear somebody talk about a true adult versus a dual enrolled student. A dual enrolled student is 16 or 17. Sometimes they're enrolled in their home school and just taking a class with us for credit recovery. Sometimes they're either dropped out to homeschool or they've left their school for some reason and are just taking classes with us. So those students, we build the school for them when they take classes with us, and then the school is able to count them as a completer when they graduate. A true adult, on the other hand, is 18 plus. In fact, this year, the oldest student we're working with is 57, and they right now are not charged. So we don't, other programs do charge, but we wanted to lower barriers as much as possible, so we do not. One of our contingency plans is that we may have to go back to charging them. It's not a lot. It's usually, $200 or so, but we are working on some scholarship opportunities in case that's not possible anymore. We do have rolling admission for those programs. If somebody, I had a student came in recently, and she's been waiting 10 years to go back to school, and she was finally ready, and I didn't want to say, oh, okay, we'll see you in the fall. But we've got online class options. Fortunately for her, we also have a summer class that she was able to get into, but we have online class options so that students can start whenever they're ready to go. So we're excited about all of those opportunities. All right. This is our last federal grant. Again, this is another one that we heard last night is going to be level funded. The Integrated Education and Training Grant helps a student who is either an English language learner, has low basic skills, or hasn't graduated from high school, helps them kind of get those skills, but also get some vocational skills at the same time. Most of the time, previously we've been helping them get LNA certification. That's been working great, but we're looking at branching out to serve some students in some other ways. In fact, this next Monday, we're starting a pre-apprenticeship program that will help somebody get ready for a skilled trade or a manufacturing program. There's an article about it tonight in the Sentinel, actually. So we're excited about that. We've got 8 students in that one. We're also hoping to go branch into paraprofessional training as well. There was, last year after school started, there were still 200 openings for paraprofessionals in our region. So we're really hoping to be able to develop an IET that will help support some of that need as well. The pre-apprenticeship grant, pre-apprenticeship programming, we're really excited. We got a $20,000 grant from COABE and CCER and the Lowe's Foundation to fund that program. So it only costs $500 per student. So you'll notice this next slide is a different color. And the reason is because this one is not grant funded. This one's self-funded. In fact, it covers some of our salaries as well, because it is revenue generating. This year, we're expected to get a little over 177,000. I'm expecting that's going to go up a little bit next year. One of the reasons is because you'll see the last year we served 120 students, and this year we only served 114. The high school rearranged their rooms a little bit, and so Electrical 1, which is our biggest class, we put it in the biggest room we had, and it still didn't fit the needs. We had to turn some people away. We're working on mitigating that for next year so that we can go and hire some more, or accept some more students. So we're excited to be able to do that. This year, we graduated 9 plumbers and 18 electricians. We're also working with Apprenticeship New Hampshire on collaboration for a manufacturing grant. We're actually almost all ready to submit that, and then they took it down to conform with to rewrite it to conform with new executive orders, and then the COABE thing came along. So they've asked us to reapply, and so we're hoping to do that over the summer. Enrichment is the next one. It's also self-funding. We didn't make a lot with that. We made about $4,000. But the nice thing about it was that we, in fact, a couple of the current event ones we held in this room and brought in 45 or so community members who hadn't either been in this room before, hadn't known what community ed did before, hadn't even known what the Jonathan Daniels building did before. So it was really great public relations for us and not a lot of extra work. So we're hoping to continue that type of thing again. We also did a welding class. The fun thing about the welding class, it's only 8 students, but it's held at Filtrine. And so that's a really great partnership with a local business. So we're excited about that. Plumbing license renewal, everybody wants your plumber licensed. So we're hoping to do that. Gas fitter, we're getting a lot of requests for gas fitter, but our gas fitter teacher didn't pass his last certification exam, and he's probably not going to try again because apparently he's in his mid-90s. So we're looking for a gas fitter teacher, if you know one. So our goals for next year are to seek out more diverse funding sources because, as everybody knows, the federal and state grants have been a little volatile lately. So we're hoping to begin to diversify a little bit, just in case. Increase our visibility in the community, which we're doing a really good job, I think, on so far. Expanding apprenticeship opportunities. It's one thing that the federal government looks like they're going to fund is apprenticeships. So we're in a good spot to take advantage of those opportunities when they come. Strengthen our partnerships with our own high school and other high schools. Develop a regular schedule of IET programs. and search out new ways to identify and attract the adults who need our services. So basically, the bottom line, you'll see those are the grants, and like I said, we expect hopefully all of them to be level funded with the exception of that $7,000. The private grants that I mentioned from Dollar General and COABE, I added in with the $25,000 for the FY26 projections, since most of that money is going to be expended in FY26. Tuition, that includes a little over $5,000 for spring ADP students that we haven't yet received, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more from pre-apprenticeships. Next year, like I said, I hope it's going to go up a little bit, particularly because of being able to take more Electrical 1 students. Our biggest expense is admin salaries and benefits. We have a great new program assistant who will be split between working with us and working with supplemental learning. We also have an admin assistant who's also split between us and supplemental learning. There's myself and a usually a 25 to 30 hour a week guidance counselor during the school year that comes under those admin salaries and benefits. Then there's instruction. Those supplies included, this was a new code year, so we had to buy new code books for a lot of our apprentices. And so it was a pretty expensive year, but we also got a smart board through our IELCE grant, but we're expecting that those costs will go down a little bit next year. And so our intention is to be even.
Supplies are how much?
I'm sorry.
How much are supplies?
Supplies, I rolled it in with everything else just to fit in the slide. But supplies really weren't that much. Like,
I know, but it says $100. There's no 100 in the total. I just wondered.
what do you mean it says $100? Oh, sorry. That was supposed to be 100,000. Sorry. No wonder
Gotcha.
you're confused.
So it's 100, yeah, I just want to,
Yes, sorry.
Give or take, yeah. $100, 100,000. Yeah.
No, that's a very good question. So the last slide is just thanking you. As part of the federal grant requirement, you folks supply us with 25% in-kind donations, and that covers our office and our classroom space, our business office support, human resources, and just this year, everybody's been so wonderful and helpful. So it's provided all kinds of support. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You know, it's been a trying year, you know, and it's going to be another trying year, so thank you for all you're doing. Any questions or comments from anybody? Okay, being done, we don't need a vote here, do we?
what's that?
We don't need a vote tonight on this, do we?
You do not.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Director in Buildings Ground Report. Just everything hunky-dory?
Yes.
No heating and cooling failures, no roofs falling off?
Not yet.
Not this month? See ya.
Gonna be running.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait till you're about 15 minutes down the road, 10 minutes, I'll call you. Tell you we need you back here.
Of course, the high school has no reception. You better have Kent.
All right, bear with me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
no,
run- I'm
no
gonna run
problem.
it all
We have
first.
the rest of us have no place to be here. So.
Yeah. Start with an update on our multi-function school activity bus uses, which I like to show off because it has been a super success. I did fix that link on there for you. I don't know where it was going, just a dead page. But as you can see, this last month, I think maybe with the end of school near, there was a lot going on. We had 53 uses in May, which was the total for December and January. So it's very, very busy this last month.
I see it out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, they're out all the time, sometimes multiple times a day. We're juggling, getting them in, checking them out, getting them out, so.
Good.
Good. We got 20 more uses currently scheduled from here to 2 weeks from now, so, and nothing yet this summer. But special ed did use it through the summer last year, so we're anticipating that coming out.
Drivers, volunteers, we're finding enough of those and.
The drivers are typically, the drivers have been teachers or paras or something related to the class or the horticulture teacher taking the kids somewhere or automotive.
We didn't run into too many issues where we didn't have a driver.
No, I think they're finding the driver before finding the place to go,
Showing ahead,
is
okay,
what they're
cool.
doing.
Yep.
So it's working out really well,
Good.
because it's not a running list of, I would like to go here, who can take me?
Right.
It's more of initiative from the teacher saying, I'd like to take the kids to the Elm Farm.
Right.
And setting it up, at some point, maybe summarize, in my opinion, the places that the kids have gone this year that they definitely wouldn't have gone if these buses weren't here.
Right.
Because I see it, and there's, 3/4 of these are places that wouldn't have been visited, right?
Cool.
So.
Good.
Definitely super excited. I think you can tell because I talk about it all the time, but.
Yeah.
It's alumni field update. Obviously, it's been super rainy, which also means a lot of grass growth. So most of our time has been simply mowing to keep the athletic fields playable. And then the last week, we've shifted to try to get around the buildings. We got graduation coming up. So there's been a lot of work on the grounds. Swamp Bat's opening week this week, so that's been hectic.
Tomorrow night.
They just got on the bus at 2:45 to go to their away game today, so they are in town. It's good to see them back, and it'll be busy the next few days over there. We've completed the turf management program on all the Arch Street fields, the alumni fields, which is our spring grub, aeration and fertilization. We also reseed the football field each spring because that takes the most abuse through the fall, and it is already looking like a nice green carpet for the season. As we know, graduation is this week, so that's been another big push in our department the last couple of weeks, is getting everything ready around A1, crossing our fingers. I'm not even gonna say it, but we really like the outside graduations, but the weather looks like it could go either way this week, so, but we're prepped either way, inside or out. We've also got our summer abatement and flooring schedule built for abating asbestos flooring at the high school and relocating all the people that are there during that period of time. It's in the guidance area, so we have some year-round staff that we have to relocate for the couple of weeks, and that's been all taken care of. We've also built the schedule for the high school for our the cleaning schedule and floor care schedule. That's a big to-do because it's a huge building. We always follow a schedule, but the last couple, 3 years, we've had a well-documented schedule so that teachers know when they can come and go from their area of the building, and it actually makes it a little more efficient than them showing up and not being able to get into their space or bowling into the space when it slows us down a little bit. So that's great. Update on the safety renovation project that Tim and I are working on with Banwell for the high school. This is that building aid project that we're working on. We've got a bunch of things. We've met with Banwell Architects, and we have a bunch of things to complete for the application. Tim and I have a few things that we're working on. There's a few things that Banwell's working on, but nothing significant to share at this time. At the middle school, there's a little boardwalk update. So the contractor came and replaced the city line that had failed, did a fantastic job, and Tim and I walked it to review the job. And the boardwalk was put back together so well that we actually opened it back up. We technically not ADA accessible like it will be, but it's at least opened up so the classes and the art teachers and all those could use it for the last few weeks of school. So there's no danger. It actually is really nice in the section that he replaced. But the grade needs to be adjusted to be considered fully accessible as it's designed. So that'll happen at the end of August, beginning of September, when the original installer has some free time. We've already got it scheduled with him for when he finishes his summer project to come here and do that to our boardwalk. The Jonathan Daniels preschool building ventilation project update. We only have one RTU over on the other side. It's been on this list since I've been reporting this, but it's just as something from the factory defective in the cooling. So that is actually being addressed. Part of it was today, and hopefully by the end of this week, and I can take it off this report. Paving project, I got that bid just about complete. I would have had it out by now and back by now, but as Tim and I walked, the paving for this summer, the big project is here. And as I walked the site and finalizing some of the decisions, and I called Tim over because the back here has changed. What we use the back parking lot has drastically changed over the last few years. We have pickleball, we have this room, we have Babe Ruth back in Keene, which is great, but it's a mess back here right now. I bet if we walked out that door, it's a mess right now. Baseball's out there, there's pickleball, we're here. So we wanted to have it designed a little better, at least have a flow. Obviously, there's no lines, but even Tim and I don't have the expertise to put the lines down and make it work well. So under Tim's suggestion, we hired a civil engineer, which we do occasionally when it comes to a question we need help with. And so we just got the prints back Friday, and Tim was out. So Tim and I will review those tomorrow, and I get that bid out, and we'll have it in a couple weeks and secure a contractor to do this project this year. Fuller Elementary School, the HVAC life safety renovations is ready to run. The 18th, the last day at night, we have a second shift, 3 to midnight crew coming in to dump the rooms we're working on, moving them to storage. And on the 19th, it hits the ground running, full bore demo and containment. So we are ready for that, and that'll be good. Franklin School just has 2 roof sections that we're doing this summer. Those bids are in, contractors secured, and working on the schedule with them. Nothing new at Wheelock or Simons to talk about, and just a little energy update. Last month I talked about how we were just about to either extend or secure a bit more of our energy. I've hedged our energy out a few years, like 25%, 50% for next year, and we have 100% this year. When the market drops, well, the market's dropping crazy right now, and we actually think we can get it down around 5.5. So we're waiting for it to hit that number, and then we're going to secure all our energy for next year and part of the following year. So that's just the update on that. And unfortunately, as of Monday, we have a vacancy at the high school that's been posted, and we've actually already got 2 applicants. So I think we'll be able to fill that pretty quickly. That is the end of my report.
You're seeing that when you have vacancies compared to what was a couple years ago,
Yeah.
it's easier to at least get applicants.
Yeah, typically we don't even look at the online application thing for at least a week or two, and we looked at it just a few short days after, and we have applicants, so that's good.
Good. Good, okay. Good.
When are you gonna learn never to come to us and say you have a full staff?
If there's nothing under staffing, that's what just leave it alone.
This is about the 3rd or 4th time he's come to us over the years. I got everybody.
Jinx yourself.
I like to keep you informed. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay. Thank you. Any rental waiver requests we need to discuss?
I don't have any rental waiver requests this month. no.
Okay. Okay, well, now we're heading on to policy review, and it looks like it's gonna be you.
It is going to be me, but that's okay because I did this with Tim. This is the appendix to policy KF, which is the community use or facility use policy for the district. And this appendix sets our rates. And we haven't had much of an increase over a couple of years. And as we finish projects, what Tim and I do is make sure we're capturing that in our rates. And so this year we only have a couple things. Everything else is staying the same. You see I indicated it in red. The cafeteria at the high school, or middle school, I'm sorry, comes out to be a little short, so we decided to bring that up $10. And then the only other thing we added was this PD center, as we now have as a rentable space without any kind of fee to it. We were charging just the classroom rate up to this point. So we feel like this main room here is worth $80 an hour, and the 2 breakout spaces are $60, much like a classroom you would get at any other room. And then the custodial rate is directly related to their increase. So that is an overtime rate for our lead custodian. And that's how we figure that out. And this is what we charge back to an outside group who would use a room at the high school, for instance, and we had custodial staff there. We would back charge that to them.
Okay.
Really. No changes on any of the athletic fields or any of the admin fees or any of the other stuff. We reviewed them, and they are all pretty much where they should be.
Okay. Questions? It's an interesting one because I can see, even though this comes to facilities, it could also go to policy, it could also go to finance. Because all of us have a hand in this one. You don't need a vote on this, do you, though?
I don't know, and I wish I'd asked him before he left, but I think usually something takes place so that we can,
Okay. Okay. We'll do that. That's why I was looking at that, especially because finance and policy are gonna probably gonna grab a hold of this also. So I'll recommend, we recommend the policy review to approve as, to the full board as presented.
I'm trying to think from it. Would, it may be, if we recommend it to the full board as presented, and it has to go to the other committees, it might be best to recommend to the board that this be forwarded on to one of the other committees.
Yeah, okay, I mean, I'll add that to that, because obviously, like I mentioned, policy and finance are probably gonna get their hands on this also. So, yeah, just add that into the motion that the recommendation to the full board is to, sooner than later, pass it on to, either policy or finance.
Yeah, because if you recommend it to the full board, it can come back as a first or a second read.
Sure.
So this way.
Okay. Okay, all in favor? Got a unanimous out of that, thank you for that amendment. Addendum to, facilities, well, we're looking at a calendar.
it just looks like your meeting schedule for next year.
Okay. You say that louder? Yeah. Questions? Okay, I move to recommend to the full board the calendar as presented.
You don't go to full board, yours.
Say what?
It's your committee.
Is it, does it have to go to full board for full? No? Okay, then we'll, move, we accept this as presented. You have a second? All in favor? Thank you. Cool.
It's one of those, the full board, the board members have to vote to recommend, to approve the boards.
Right.
But the chair can set his own,
Cool.
his or her own committee.
And- Okay. Any others?
No other for
No
me.
no others on the others? Any further comments or questions from anybody? Okay, with that saying, at about